There's nothing like a tenant signing a new 1-year lease and this happen in week 2. Okay? So what should Joe have done at the very beginning? Check with the health department. On rental properties, you need to be calling and getting a copy of the septic permit. How many times have you walked into clearly a 3-bedroom house and later find out it's a 2-bedroom? It happens a lot. It happens a lot, especially on the sell side. You know, you sell a house to a buyer and they think they're getting a 3-bedroom and then they go to resell it and find out it's a 2. Does that hurt the property value? Yep. Absolutely. The same thing with the rental. What could he be responsible for? Could he be responsible for moving that tenant out, helping them find a new place, maybe some costs associated with that? What about the rent the owner's now going to lose? So you see the kind of the box you can fall into really quick when stuff like this happens. Couple questions you want to ask. So you go out to a property, the owner says, hey, I'm thinking of renting out my house. What's some questions you should ask? One of the first questions, how's it hooked up here on the sewer? Is it a public sewer or is it on a septic tank? Okay. Depending on the answer to this is going to be other questions that come up out of it. So, it's a septic tank. Okay. One of the questions to ask, where's the septic tank located? Why is that an important question? Have you ever seen a septic tank located right off the driveway? What do tenants normally do when they're ready to move into a house? They back the truck right up to the front of the house so they don't have to walk very far to move this furniture. Now they're sitting on top of your septic tank. Could that be a problem? Yeah. Have you ever heard stories of people parking and falling into septic tanks with their car? Could be a big issue. So you need to know the location. Or the drain field, absolutely. You crush a drain line. Typically, if we find out the septic tank is located anywhere near the driveway, that's going to be, maybe we put up a flower bed there or something to keep the tenant from pulling off and parking on it, because the tenants usually don't know the location of the septic tank. Very important question. How many bedrooms is the septic tank approved for? Ask the owner. You know how many bedrooms it's approved for. Most of the time when I ask that question, the owner's like, I think it's 3. I'm not sure. We did an add-on 2 years ago, so I'm sure it's 3. If you ever hear that, that should be a big siren going off. So you did an add-on and you built your 3rd bedroom in the back. Did you update your septic system? I didn't know I needed to do that. Anybody ever heard that story before?
We built it on top of the septic tank.
Yeah, and we built it on top of the septic tank. So for us to pump it out, we just have to remove our new bedroom floor. Yeah. So it could be interesting. I've actually seen an above ground pool built on top of the septic tank. That made an interesting issue. Another question, how old is the system? Why is it important to know how old a system is?
It's still functioning.
Do you think septic tanks that were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s were set up to handle as much water as we use now? Probably not. Back in the 50s and 60s, not everybody had dishwashers. Not everybody had washing machines. So if you have an older house and the system hadn't been updated and you've added a dishwasher and now you've added a washing machine, there's a good chance you're going to overload that system. But Mark, we just pumped the dishwasher out in the backyard. Y'all seen that, huh? Yeah, can't do that. Can't do that. So, and the washing machine. Nothing like walking around the house when your laundry's being done and you see a nice mound of bubbles in the backyard, right? Can't do that. So you got to be aware of what's going on. When was the last time the system was pumped? There's a lot of owners never pumped their systems before. And that's something to keep in mind, especially if a tenant's going to move in, this system fills up, maybe it's something you can pump out. I would definitely ask the owners, hey, have you had your system pumped lately? And if not, then chances are you might need to do it before a tenant moves in, or if a tenant moves in, if it's an issue. And this is a question that you would want to call, before I show you that, hopefully you didn't look at it. Who do you call to get septic permits in most counties? That's precise. Just send an email. She's great. She responds really, really quick. Who's it normally with? Environmental health. Can I get a copy of the septic permit? You want to call, check in with the local environmental health department to actually get a copy of the septic permit. If you're selling houses, I know this is property management, I highly recommend, if the house is on a septic system, upload that into MLS, because who's that protecting by disclosing this stuff? The listing agent, right? And if you're working with a buyer, it might be a good idea, hey, here's the septic permit, why don't you initial and date you got this, okay? It's a great idea for property managers to have a copy of that on their file, okay? Some maintenance issues for septic tanks. Obviously, you should not flush any personal wipes or items in a septic system because they can drain the line up. Okay? Same thing goes for grease. Might be a good idea, have a little worksheet or a flyer put together and put it in your templates for your lease. So if a property is renting with a septic system, oh, by the way, this is on a septic system, just to make you aware. Do you think most tenants know there's a difference between regular sewer and a septic tank? No, no. A lot of people don't realize what a septic tank actually looks like and what it does. But this is something to kind of talk about this to eliminate some of these issues up front.